What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fame Ready, the podcast to show you that anything is possible. Yes, including fame. I'm your host, personal branding and public relations expert, Katrina Owens. It's a Friday morning, late November, and it's been a vibe, guys, because honestly, for the last I don't know, 9 months, I have been so busy traveling, events, just like nonstop, brands, new conversations, all of that. And I've actually really been enjoying this time of year because it's a bit of a slower pace. And I thought that was gonna scare me, but I've just been like really leaning into it because now that it's been a full 12 months of going all in on my personal brand, I have incredible results to show for it. And now is the time to just like soak it all in. So, for those of you that maybe like don't know me that well, I'm guessing that's most of you. Um, Gabriel and I live on the west coast of Canada. Our family is kind of all over the place. So we typically just spend the holiday season at home, in our home with our dogs. And it's lazy, it's restful, it's calm, it's quiet. It is probably unlike a lot of the holiday seasons that most people have. And that's why I love it so much because while people are starting to really feel like they're gearing up, oh, we've got Dexter entering the chat. People feel like they're like gearing up for like this really busy season. I actually feel quite the opposite. I am like slowing down, but feeling really, really good about it, you guys. And it's let me have the time and space that I've needed to reflect on all of the achievements that I've had in the last 12 months because there's been so many, but it's also given me a chance to really think about the strategy. And that's what I'm bringing to you today is the strategy behind all of the different things that I did to really see the results that I'm finally sitting in. But what I need you to understand is none of these results happened overnight. Um, None of them even really happened like in a short span of a couple months. Um, the past 12 months have been a radical act of self trust. Honestly, me just choosing myself and my business over and over again, knowing that eventually it's gonna be so great, and just like really like knowing that, but holding a bit of fear around it and try not to let that drive. Um, yeah. And I'm just really proud. If you're watching this on YouTube, like where Dexter is sitting right now is front and center. Like he thinks he's the star of this show. Me, the star. Yeah. So all I can really say about that is I'm just so grateful for the version of me that pushed through the last 12 months because they were not easy. Um, Challenges, most of those challenges being myself, quite honestly. Me being scared to jump in with 2 feet. That's actually a conversation we'd been talking about in the mentorship program that I'm a part of, Living in Balance. I'll link it in the show notes if you ever want to check it out. But jumping in with 2 feet is really what I did this last year. Went all into building a very profitable personal brand, but you have to know that the profit didn't come right away. I'm now Cindy Kumar. She hosts a podcast called Her Profit Era. And I am now in my profit era. Alert my accountant. I'm in my profit era. Finally, took 12 months. It took a lot of months where I actually was in the red or just breaking even. I don't think a lot of people understand that part. Like you see me traveling and, you know, having fun and doing like sparkly stage things, wearing sparkly silver boots. And you must think, well, Katrina must be like rolling in it, right? Like if this is what she spends her time doing. But to be so totally transparent, there were a lot of months of spending money that I personally did not necessarily have. And now it's all coming back in droves. But that was month over month of holding a vision, trusting that it was all going to work out, and really following through with the strategy, which is what I want to dive into. The other thing that I want to mention, because this episode is going to come out a couple days before Black Friday, which is really fun. What's everybody's like Black Friday shopping list consist of? I always like have a couple things that I tell myself I'm allowed to buy when Black Friday rolls around. Um, Actually, I think last Black Friday, it ended up being a lot of like the podcast equipment that you see here, couch, microphone, all of that. So that's kind of funny. Um, but this year, I'm just gonna dive right in because now brands are doing the thing where like you get early Black Friday. So I've already been diving into what I'm planning to get or have already bought. So first on my list was like a big Skims order. I love Skims. What an incredible brand. There is a certain like lounge set that they have, which is like a legging with like a tank top, or you can do a bralette. And I have like 3 sets. Um, and I wear them like to bed if I'm traveling. They're the pajamas that I bring along because they're like cute enough that if you have to like go answer the door at 2 p.m. on a Saturday, people aren't going to be like, wow, you're in a full flannel pajama. Same for like if you're in a hotel and just like need to be like cozy but cute enough that you could like run down and pick up a DoorDash order. That is the lounge set. I have it in black, I have it in gray. And I've had these for so long that they're starting to get like, I mean, I've had these for years, 3 years, both sets, I think, and they're starting to like wear a little bit. Honestly, they've lasted for so long and stayed in great condition for so long, but now they're at the end of their life. And I knew it was time to get a new set when Gabriel was like, those pants have holes in them. I was like, I know, I know. So I ordered a new set that's red, and then I got other like sweatsuit, also red. I'm sure you guys are going to be seeing those come up as soon as I get my order and start doing like more cozy recordings during the holiday season. So I did my Skims order. The second thing that I really want to get is one of those like those, not an Aura ring, because I hear they sell your information allegedly. I haven't done enough research to be able to speak to that confidently, but there's a brand called Ultra Human, and it's the same concept. It's like a ring that tracks all of your different body metrics. I am just like constantly trying to be more in tune with myself, my health, my intuition. So that's the other thing that I really want to get. I was looking at them last night. I'm just trying to decide what color. I think gold. I love me some gold. I think I just got to pull the trigger on it. So that's the other thing that I want. I'm also gonna get a new pair of Uggs. I get a new pair of Uggs every single season because my Uggs from last season become like dog walking boots. So like I have a pair of Uggs. I get the same kind, the short ones, same color every single year. This camera is killing me today. Um, I get the same color, same style every single year, but now, because I've worn them outside in the rain and the snow to walk the dogs, they're so comfortable, they look terrible. So I treat myself to a new pair that I can actually wear to like run errands in and don't feel like a total slob kebab. So we're getting the Uggs. And then the one thing that I'm going to get for the household is a Smeg kettle. Okay. So last night I went to go make some tea before bed as I was just like sitting on the couch wrapping up some work stuff. And then I like put the kettle on, and then Gabriel comes out of the kitchen and he's like, "Were you just like trying to make yourself some tea?" And I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Yeah, that kettle like needs to be cleaned. Like it's all calcified on the inside." And I was like, "Yeah, I've had that kettle for like literally 7 years. Like it's old." So I'm like, "I'm not going to clean that thing." And he's been talking about cleaning it for freaking ever and hasn't. So I was like, "You know what? I'm just going to buy us a new kettle." I'm like, I know exactly the one that I want. I'm like, it's called a Smeg. And he's like, what makes it special? I'm like, it's just like cute and like retro looking, but like, I'm pretty sure if we put that on the counter, it's going to like it increase the resale value of our home when we go to sell it. So we're also going to get a Smeg kettle. So that's what I'm like planning to buy. I'm pretty intentional with my shopping and my spending. So I tend not to like let myself go like fully nuts. Those are like the things that have been on my radar for a while, and then I'm like, okay, we can get them. So what I'm actually going to do today too is I have a couple Black Friday offers, but I want like I just said, I spend really intentionally. So as I kind of walk through the strategy that I've used to really build this personal brand that gets paid, that's going to be the title of this episode, actually, build a personal brand that gets paid. So as I've done this, obviously there are certain things that I've invested in, and I just want you all to have the opportunity to be really intentional about what you spend your money on, what you might choose to invest in this Black Friday season. All of the offers are in place until November 30th, 2025. So if you can't jump in right on Black Friday, you have a couple days. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I refer to my notes. I really planned this one out. So for those of you that are maybe newer to this podcast, you might not know that up until last November, like I've had my business for 3 years, but up until that point, I was actually running a more traditional marketing agency. So we would do like social media, web design, brand design, um, public relations management, like done for you PR, all of those things. And then I was kind of offering coaching off the side of my desk. But I hated running an agency. It made me so miserable. The marketing I love to do the most is my own. And for me, I just had to come to terms with the fact that that was okay. And what's been so beautiful is in fully investing in my personal brand and doing my own marketing, it's obviously created incredible results that I now get to coach other people on. So when I'm coaching, which I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like, when I'm coaching my clients, it's obviously based on the experiences that I've had, plus the clients that I've worked for and my past industry experience. So for me, that doesn't feel like an agency model. It feels like I'm more integrated into my client's business and we have a different kind of relationship. It's a bit deeper, right? Than just being an agency. When I ran an agency, I had a lot of clients and I didn't feel like connected to each and every single one of them because the work didn't really require that. And now I just like get to have this deeper connection with every single client, whether they're a one-on-one client or my group program. And that's been really, really gratifying. So that's how I know that this is what I'm meant to be doing. Okay. But I'm sure you're wondering when I talk about building a personal brand that gets paid. This really kind of encapsulates a couple different revenue streams. So now that I don't have an agency, I want to walk you through all of my revenue streams real quickly. Okay. So obviously, we've got coaching programs. I've got my group coaching, and then I've got my one on one. So group coaching is my Fame Ready Entrepreneur program. And then my one on one programs range from like 3 month to 6 month containers that I'll also include custom strategy. So that's the bulk of my business. The second revenue stream that's my favorite is speaking and workshops. So I'll do a lot of like corporate workshops. So these might not even be like really big speaking gigs. This could be me in a boardroom with 6 executives and we're talking about personal branding for 2 hours. It's super, super lucrative. And really impactful and really fun for me too, because it allows me to continuously refine the content that I share on bigger and bigger stages. And again, it allows me to have a bit more of a personal relationship with these teams. And what I do, which I don't think a lot of like corporate workshop hosts do, is I actually do individual follow-up calls with like everyone that was in the session. So that allows me to like continue to help them implement. So it's not like they're just doing a workshop once. They're doing a workshop and then getting my support after the fact individually. The other revenue stream, the one that I just did not think was possible at all for someone with a platform of my size right now, is brand partnerships. Brand partnerships have actually become a very significant revenue stream for my business, and I'm very, very proud of that. I'm feeling incredibly grateful for the opportunity to work with brands in this way. And I'm going to do a whole episode about brand partnerships and where you can start to find them yourself if this is something that's on your 2026 dream list. But just know it's possible for you when you start to like really get into building a well-known personal brand. And then finally, event revenue. So I will be so transparent when I say I make money off of my events and not just like the back end. Okay. I had once read on Threads, I have no idea if this is like a normal statistic, but I basically say like I want to make 50% revenue or 50% profit off of all of my event ticket revenue because hello, I'm doing all of the groundwork to like get this event off the ground, all of the marketing, all of that. And although I do sign clients from these events, that part's not guaranteed. So like maybe one day I try a new event format. Like for example, this year I really want to do retreats. So maybe this year I experiment with a retreat, hoping that I will receive clients off the back end. But if I don't, I need to be getting something for my time. I value my time. So I know there are some event hosts that like say events don't make money, and I just simply disagree. That's why sponsors are also important because they can help offset the costs. You can receive more of that profit from the event ticket. So 50% is what I try to aim for. It can get a little like as long as I'm around 50%, I'm okay. I think my last event, I probably netted out more at like 40% profit. And honestly, that still felt great because that event in itself, which needs its own episode, but that was a great authority builder, visibility machine. It was so many things for my business, and I still signed like $20,000 worth of clients after the fact. So I digress. Okay. But first, let's take it all the way back to 12 months ago when I decided to close my agency, because the first shift that you need to make is getting known for one thing. Clarity creates confidence, which creates cash flow. Okay. So when I was running my agency, I was talking about so many things: branding, web design, PR management, social media management. And unfortunately, in doing that, nobody really knew what to like come to me specifically for. Um, and I didn't know that was a problem until it started to get really hard to sign clients, because when I started my agency, I really just relied on my personal network. I was able to like scale my business to six figures very, very quickly, all because I had a very strong network from my corporate days. Um, but when it came to like now broadening that through going to events and showing up on social media and all of that, that's when I started to realize that I wasn't making a mark or leaving a mark in the way that I needed to. So this is foundational for any single one of you that are wanting to get paid for your personal brand. You must like get specific on like what is the one thing that you are so good at delivering, that you want to be known for, that you're passionate about, because that's what's going to make you really easy to monetize. This is why I've been able to secure brand deals at my specific point in my brand when I don't have like millions or hundreds of thousands of followers. It's because I can make very clear links between how my brand makes sense working with another brand, because I'm so clear on my identity. This also means that it's easy for me to turn down opportunities that don't align. So like, I think people get scared about like having a niche or finding a niche. I tend to not even like really use that word because I don't have a niche, but I have a strong personal brand. I'm a PR for personal brands expert. That's what I call myself. That's what resonates. I help business owners feel famous for the work they do. No one uses that language. I don't even know that there's anyone else out there using that actual job title, which just means that like I've really found my own niche, and it's made it really easy to like bring in clients, bring in aligned collaborations, and all of that. So that brings me to my first point. Okay. My coaching programs are really, really focused on this. Let me take a quick sip of my eggnog latte before it gets cold. So whenever a client starts working with me in one of my coaching programs, that's where we start. I was actually having a conversation about this with a potential client who is in my DMs earlier this week. And she's someone who's still in the early days of carving out her personal brand. She has lots of great experience. She is well known, respected, highly paid in her niche, but she's not seeing like speaking engagements or brand deals. Even though she works with a lot of brands and in the other function of her business, they're not asking her to like be a partner in a traditional sense. And what that points to is a brand problem. People aren't seeing you as an authority in the space, they're just seeing you as a service provider. And so my coaching programs really solve that problem first, because I believe that if you have this really authoritative, credible personal brand that's positioned as a leader in your industry, that's when opportunities come to you. I have like 6 speaking gigs lined up for 2026 already, and these are just the ones that are like confirmed in the calendar booked, like not even the ones that are like in the works right now, and like not even Dexter's. Are you leaving? Now he's just going to sit awkwardly on my lap like this. And the reason why I've been able to have this like list of speaking gigs already like booked in the calendar is because people view me as a speaker. They see me as a credible, authoritative figure that they want to have on their stage. So they just come to me. I don't send a single freaking pitch these days, you guys. I'm not cold pitching. All of these opportunities have just like really organically came to me, which is really fun. Yeah. And that's what I want for each one of my clients. So if that's something that you feel like you're needing, then my coaching programs are perfect for you. So obviously I have 2 streams. My group coaching program is called the Fame Ready Entrepreneur Program. So if that's feeling up your alley at this time of year, when you enroll in the Fame Ready Entrepreneur Program, you have access for 12 months. So if you're enrolling before November 30th, you have access until November 2026. And in that program, we do weekly hot seat coaching calls. They're at 11 a.m. Pacific time and 5 p.m. Pacific time. They alternate depending on the week, because I am incredibly blessed to have women from across the freaking globe in that program. So we alternate for time zones. I also bring in different guest experts. So in January, I'm going to have someone come in who is going to talk about like how to bring in more leads through your website as a personal brand. I'm also going to have someone talking about here's how you can create a media kit. It's going to be really, really awesome in the new year. So that's that Fame Ready Entrepreneur Program. There are 30 people in it right now, which is really fun across all industries. So when you join before November 30th, 2026, you get all of that access. Plus, you are going to get 1 month of free. Yeah, this is crazy. Free one-on-one coaching with me. Okay. So I'm doing this because if you're jumping in at this time of year, you have a really unique opportunity to like map out your entire visibility plan for the next 12 months. And so that's what that coaching is so great for. As soon as January kicks off, we'll kick off our one-on-one coaching. I'm going to help you map out a visibility plan that really aligns with whatever big goal you have, even if it is just to like get on more stages generally. Maybe there's not something super specific in mind. I'll help you understand from like a very granular perspective what you personally need to do to get on more stages. So we'll do a couple Zoom calls throughout the month. You have access to me for questions, emails, messaging, voice notes for an entire month for free. Okay, that's freaking crazy. It's typically valued at like $1,500. So that link is in the show notes if you're interested. If you're more interested in my one-on-one programs, I do have to vet you and we have to have a conversation first to make sure that we're going to like working with each other one-on-one. But right now what I'm doing is my books are closed for the rest of the year. So anyone that wants to become a client in January can save their spot with a $500 deposit, and then we'll kick off in January. But if you're interested in that, I'll leave the link to book a discovery call in the show notes. You can click that link and we can chat and just make sure that we're the right fit for each other. Okay, cool. Okay, so moving on. So I had the super clear personal brand. I knew what I wanted to be known for. I took my agency down from like 7 services to just 2 coaching programs. And then I realized I needed more visibility and fast, and not the kind of visibility that you get from just like posting on social media every day. I wanted more people to experience me in person, which meant getting in the room and going to events. So last November was actually when I bought my very first ticket to an event that wasn't in my region. So what did that look like? There was this event host that I met. Shout out Brittany from Rich Girl Cult. Rich Girl Cult. Rich Girl Cult doesn't exist anymore, but it was a fabulous conference. I went to a couple of them throughout the US this past year, and really, really amazing community of women. So last November, I bought a ticket to Rich Girl Cult Conference that was happening in Orlando, Florida in March. And I bought that ticket with money I didn't have, but I had just got my business loan. And I'm like, this feels like the right investment. I had connected with Brittany on Threads, and I'm like, this is what the future version of me would do. She would be traveling to events, she would be expanding her network beyond her local geographic region. And I went for it. And I did it strategically because, like I said, I wasn't making any money, like really. And I bought my event ticket. And then I was like, okay, I know that I can like put off buying the flight and booking the hotel for like a little bit longer because um, those things, like, weren't time sensitive. Um, so I just was like, okay, I know I can kind of like offset the rest of the costs. Like there'll be a future Katrina problem. Um, and they were. And that's okay. So anyways, so that was the first event that I committed to, but I really held myself responsible to making the most out of that event ticket. Okay. So what I love about my mentors in the living in balance space is they're never going to tell me like what to do or what not to do in my business, but they're going to hold me accountable to the decisions that I've made. So back then I remember telling my mentor like, okay, I've just decided to like invest in going to this event in March, and she was like, great. Now you're just going to hold the responsibility around like really seeing that through till the end. So that means going to the event and really making the most of it. It means committing to my business, being 2 feet in. And that's what I did. And from that very first event, that was my first event back in March that I went to, I probably spent, like, if I think about between the ticket, um, food, hotel, flight, probably $3,000 for that trip. Um, around then, around there, Canadian dollars. I signed a $10,000 client from that event. Now, this person didn't like sign on the spot in the ballroom. This was someone I connected with, and then about a month after that event is when she signed on as a client. So I think that's something that we get wrong. We think it's so fast that, you go to an event and sign a client the next day, and it's just not like that. My nervous system still wants it to be that way, even though I know better by now. But that's what's been like the really beautiful learning lesson, is like knowing that you can meet all these people at this event, and maybe it's not the right time in that moment, but maybe in 2 months or 4 months or 6 months they're ready, and then you have that ROI. But that's why I really strongly suggest we don't try to like calculate ROI like 24 hours after anything happens, because we haven't even given ourselves an opportunity to let like the visibility land yet, right? So that was that kind of first event that I ever went to. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a post I did this week that got a lot of traction. It is where I shared the total amount that I had invested into traveling to events this year, which was $20,000. Okay. Roughly. I actually think that number is slightly lower than the real number, because I did put a couple things like on my personal card. So I'm going to say it's probably more like, it's anywhere between $20,000 to $25,000. Okay. So that's like everything from event tickets, because not every single event I was speaking at, there were some I had to buy tickets to. So event tickets, that is flights, hotels, that is meals while I'm away, and that's like Ubers and like parking at the airport, that sort of thing. So $20,000 to $25,000 is what I spent this year on all of these different trips. I went to Orlando twice, New York City twice, Nashville, Toronto, Kelowna, I think, and then obviously like a lot of Vancouver stuff. I think that's it. Um, oh, and then I also went to Hawaii and Miami. Those were more like vacations. I didn't do a ton of business there, but those still netted indirect results. Okay. And we can talk about that. Actually, let's just break it down right now. So, when I talk about the ROI of all of these events, I'm talking about direct results. So, those are clients that I met at these events, or sponsors I met at these events, brands I met at these events, opportunities that I can like directly track back to the event. Traveling to events obviously also has a lot of indirect benefits for your visibility, right? So when my audience sees me traveling, that increases my brand authority. Okay. I have this expert positioning as someone who has this worldwide global brand, and that can also convince somebody or persuade them to work with me. So this is why I also really believe in travel, because not every business is out there like traveling the world, getting into all of these different rooms, but something that I really believe in and I believe it really works. But indirect results are much more challenging to track because, while I have had different clients tell me before, like, the reason why I was drawn to you was because I love all your vacations or all of your trips. And I think what you do is so cool. Not every client is going to like say that's the reason why they decided to work with me. So indirect results are much harder to track. So when I talk about the ROI of all of these events that I did last year, I'm literally just talking about the direct results. Okay. So what was the direct ROI? I'm sure you're all waiting with bated breath. It was $95,000. Okay. $70,000 worth of new clients. So these are clients that I met at events, about $25,000 in brand partnerships. And I also received like 5 speaking gigs from going to these different events. So that's a fucking lot. Like, sorry, if someone told you, hey, if you invest $25,000 into this and you know that you're going to make $70,000, that's a great ROI. So I'm very pleased with that. And I think that just reinforces why I do this work. I actually always say every time I travel, I make money, which is very true. I sign a client anytime I'm away. It's pretty fucking fabulous, if you ask me. And I'm someone who at one point really felt like travel was a luxury. So that's what makes it even more fun for me, because I know that traveling, while it feels like a luxury, it's also bringing in clients, which is actually, those two things are probably connected to each other in a way. Okay. So if you're wondering, actually, I'm so sorry. I am like getting so stuffed up while I record this and I have no idea why. Anyways, so one of the really great questions that I actually got on an Instagram post when I was talking about this was, how do you decide or like vet what events are like the right fit for you? And Um, I like rely fully on my intuition for this one. I know you're wishing that there was like some sort of strategy or like way to vet it, and I'll give you some things you can think about, but for me, I try not to overthink it. If I get invited to an event, I and I'm immediately like, "Yes, I want to go." I just trust that. I trust that even if the room doesn't immediately, like maybe from a marketing perspective or like depending on the person that invited me, maybe if I can't immediately understand why, because maybe it doesn't feel like it's directly related to me and my business, I just like fully rely on my gut instinct to like take me to the right places, and hasn't failed me yet. So strengthen that relationship to your intuition first of all. But second to that, um, so here are some ways that you can like start to like vet events. You need to have clarity on your personal brand, obviously. That's why we talked about it at the beginning of this episode. Who are you? What do you stand for? Who is your audience? You need to know who your audience is to really understand if a room is going to be right for you, because I mean, you would just say like, okay, my audience is female service providers. Okay, well, is this event marketed towards female service providers? Yes or no? If it's yes, then yeah, I think you have a great shot of making great connections in that room. If you don't know who your audience is, I'm not sure you're ready to start like going to events. That's why we talk about the personal brand first. You've got to get like extreme clarity on who you're talking to and invest in the personal brand and know what that looks like before you try to like add on these other visibility pieces. It's not worth it to you to just like be visible for the sake of being visible. You've got to be visible with a purpose. You've got to know, like, okay, this is who I am, what I stand for, and this is why I want to continue to be seen. If you don't know that part, then like the visibility is just like, that's just like influencer shit, which isn't really what I do. So it's an important one to remember. Okay, so here's the thing. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like getting the itch, the event itch, I freaking feel you. I love going to events. I love meeting clients at events. I love being in rooms with inspiring people. So in February 2026, I'm speaking at an event in Madison, Wisconsin called Billion Dollar Vision. It's at the end of February. I'll put all the information in the show notes. But you can buy your ticket. VIP is almost sold out, okay? But you can also get a general admission ticket too. When you buy your ticket to Billion Dollar Vision and you use code Katrina, you can get 10% off your ticket. And I will also gift you a 60-minute strategy session with me, one-on-one. We can even do it in person at Billion Dollar Vision, okay? And why this is so powerful is I can actually help you understand how to get the most out of the room. So we can do the strategy session beforehand. If you want to plan, we can do it in person at Billion Dollar Vision. I'm thinking I'll probably go to Madison a little bit early. So I have a whole day where I can do like in-person coffees. Or we can do it after the fact. So maybe you meet a lot of great people and you want to know what the follow-up strategy is. We can do that as well. So that strategy session is really meant to help you get the most out of the event, the way that I'm talking about. Hey, here's how I got this incredible ROI out of all of these events that I've gone to. This is how I'm going to help you do the same. So that link is in the show notes. Billion Dollar Vision in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm honored to be speaking alongside people like Jen Gottlieb, personal branding icon, okay, Cassandra Britton, an amazing business coach, and so many of actually like just friends and other female entrepreneurs in the ethers that I just really respect and admire. So I'm so excited. I really hope you'll join me there because it's going to be a great way to kick off 2026. And it's going to be the dress code. You just got to go to the website and see the dress code. It's like chic, it's cozy, it's perfect for like a winter wonderland vibe. And I got to go to Madison in October, and it was gorgeous fall. Like it is a very, very cute city. I had no idea what to expect, honestly, but I think if you get the chance to come, you're going to love it. So that's in the show notes too. Okay. Okay. So you've got the like crystal clear personal brand, you've got the events kind of figured out, but now you need to do the hard part. This is the skill that nobody talks about, which is like the ask. Okay. It's being in relentless pursuit of your goals. It is not being afraid to sell your shit. This is how you're going to build the personal brand that gets paid. Okay. So over the last 12 months, my business has grown because I wasn't afraid to ask. When I met potential sponsors, I wasn't afraid to pitch them on my idea, on my event. I mean, when I wanted selfpublishing.com to come on board as a sponsor, I had to grind for that opportunity. Okay. Like I met the partnership manager. I had to follow up. I put together like really in-depth proposals. I did all the calls. Like I was committed to that process because I really, really wanted them to partner up with me. And now I'm so grateful that they have. So that's what I want to remind all of you too. Like be in relentless pursuit of your goals, but it's going to take removing some of this discomfort and shame, quite honestly, that we have around like following up with people or like asking for things. Okay. And this is where pitching comes in handy too. I know earlier in this episode, I said that I haven't pitched myself to anything recently, but for most of my personal brand, I did. I was constantly pitching. I was constantly testing my messaging to see like what landed, what pitches got a yes, which ones got no response. And that's so important for you to do as well. Pitching is a skill. You're going to need it to pitch the media. If you have anything related to sponsors or brands, you're going to need it for that. Even just for sales, knowing how to pitch has made me a much stronger salesperson for my business as well. So keep that in mind too. Learning to pitch and removing this like discomfort around the act of doing it is really important. Obviously, there's a right and a wrong way to do it. I talk about a lot about this. Do not send shitty pitches because that makes you look bad. But if you use my process for pitching, this is when like so much magic and like impactful results can happen. And so that's why I'm offering the pitch kit, which is my um, comprehensive how-to guide on pitching. It's pitch templates, it's follow-up templates, it's subject lines that I've used. All of this is actually based off of content that I used within my agency when we used to pitch on behalf of clients. So these are pitches that have gotten top 1% podcasts, placements in Vogue, clients on TV. So use code Black Friday at the link in the show notes to get the pitch kit for 50% off right now, $49. So if you've been like listening to this and you're like, I'm interested in coaching, or like, yeah, I'm interested in like maybe working with you, Katrina, at some point, the pitch kit is a great way to just like dip your toe in and see. Okay. You can just decide if it feels right, if it, because pitching is obviously going to be part of it, right? So if you look through the pitch kit and you're like, I can't picture myself doing this at all, then you're probably not ready to like build a personal brand that gets paid, because there is a part of you that needs to make a bold ask. Okay. So that's what the pitch kit is for. So at the end of the day, see how you can pull together all of these different pieces, your personal brand, okay? Events in person, but also your online presence, how you show up, how you talk about yourself and your work, then put that in a room where you're in front of your ideal audience, and then just like simply taking action. All of those things contribute to this like really, really highly paid personal brand, which, you know what, I saved the best result for the very end of this message, you guys, because I've just wrapped up my fiscal year. So my business fiscal year ends September 30th. So when I talk about the last year of my business, that's the year that I talk about. In October, I started a brand new fiscal year, but I also started feeling like an entirely different version of myself, one who's more confident, who brings in clients and opportunities really, really effortlessly. And I can't believe I'm going to share this out loud. If you listen to the end of this episode, you're getting the juice. I don't know if I'm going to share this anywhere else. So, in my last fiscal year, so call it 2025, it was October 2024 to September 2025. My revenue was around $200,000. Okay. It is, call it mid November 2025. And I have already secured over $100,000 in revenue for the year ahead. So half I've already done in sales. I've done half of what I did in a whole year. But it took so much investing. It took so much holding the vision, trusting that it was all going to pan out for me to get to this place. I am manifesting that I make $500,000 in revenue this year. Like, because I mean, the numbers, the projections are showing that. If I just keep riding this wave, if I keep showing up for my business, if I keep believing in this process that I know works so much, I know that that's what I'm going to achieve. And I know that each and every single one of you can achieve it too. But you've got to make the investment in your business, guys. You've got to continue to take steps to grow, to show up like the credible, authoritative figure in your space. If you don't do any of those things, you're not going to see the results. I had to learn that the hard way. But now I'm so excited to be in this new year. Really, I feel I feel so good about where things are going, and I'm just so excited to take you all along with me. So, if you liked this episode, please rate and review this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. It would mean the absolute world to me. And anytime you rate this podcast, it makes it easier for other people to find this knowledge too. Please follow me at Katrina Owens PR on Instagram. You can follow the podcast, Get Fame Ready. And all of the offers, the Black Friday offers that I mentioned are all in the show notes. So you can just click and purchase and work with me in whatever capacity feels right. And I'll see you all next week. Okay. Toodles.